My parents gave everything to my golden child brother. Ethan was always the golden child. Straight A's, star athlete. Everyone loved him. I was the quiet younger brother who stayed invisible. He got a Mustang for his 16th birthday while I got a cheap backpack. Every achievement of mine was ignored unless it compared to him. I stopped trying to earn attention and focused on surviving. I worked part-time, paid for my own things, and learned to rely on myself early. At home, everything revolved around Ethan's wins, not my existence. By the time I reached college, I was independent in every way that mattered. My parents barely called unless something involved Ethan. Then, at 2 a.m., my mom called crying. Ethan's gone. Even when I was in the same room, it felt like I didn't exist unless Ethan wasn't there. I convinced myself that leaving would fix it, but distance didn't erase the feeling that I was replaceable in my own house. For the first time in years, I mattered.
My parents gave everything to my golden child brother. I drove home the next morning expecting panic, but the house felt strangely familiar. Same framed photos of Ethan everywhere. Same feeling that I was visiting someone else's family. My parents explained Ethan disappeared 3 days earlier after suddenly stopping contact. His condo looked trashed. Drawers were open, glass was broken, and there was blood near the kitchen floor. But expensive electronics were untouched, which immediately felt suspicious. My parents handed me bank records showing huge gambling debts tied to crypto and sports betting. One transfer stood out: $87,000 sent to someone named R. Then I found deleted messages threatening Ethan. "You have 48 hours. That night I overheard my parents whispering in the kitchen. "He was always jealous of Ethan," Dad said about me. Even after everything, they still misunderstood why I pulled away. Then my phone buzzed.
My parents gave everything to my golden child brother. The texts kept coming from the unknown number. He stole from dangerous people. Dad finally admitted Ethan's gambling had spiraled out of control years ago. My parents secretly emptied savings accounts trying to rescue him over and over again. Somehow, they still defended him like he was the victim. I searched Ethan's condo again and found a hidden safe behind a framed poster. Inside was a fake passport using another name but Ethan's photo. That changed everything instantly. He wasn't kidnapped. He planned this. After digging through emails, I found proof Ethan boarded a one-way flight to Cancun the same day he vanished. My mom cried in relief knowing he was alive, but all I could think was that my brother didn't disappear. He ran. Even after the fake passport and threats, my parents still searched for excuses instead of accepting the truth.
My parents gave everything to my golden child brother. A black SUV pulled into the driveway the next evening. Two men in expensive suits stepped out. One introduced himself as Richard. He was calm, polite, and somehow that made him scarier. Richard explained Ethan owed serious people a massive amount of money. If Ethan refused to cooperate, the consequences could spread to family. After they left, Dad finally admitted the real amount, nearly $500,000. I honestly thought he was joking. My parents had secretly taken loans and even refinanced the house, trying to save Ethan from disaster. Later that night, Ethan finally texted me, "Don't tell them where I am." No apology, no concern for mom or dad, just survival. I asked him one question: "Do you actually care about anyone besides yourself?" The typing bubble appeared, then disappeared.
My parents gave everything to my golden child brother. The deeper I dug, the uglier everything became. Ethan borrowed money from friends, manipulated women into funding fake investments, and secretly stole from our parents' accounts for years. Meanwhile, collectors kept calling nonstop. One guy even showed up outside the house screaming for repayment. Watching my parents panic should have felt satisfying after years of favoritism, but mostly I felt exhausted. Then Mom quietly admitted something. "We failed you." Dad confessed he assumed I was strong enough not to need support. Hearing that hurt more than all the comparisons growing up. Strong kids get ignored because adults mistake survival for strength. That night, Ethan texted again. "They'll blame themselves if I come back." Even while hiding, he still framed himself as the victim protecting everyone else from pain.
My parents gave everything to my golden child brother. Ethan finally called from Cancun. His voice sounded shaky and exhausted, nothing like the confident brother I grew up with. He admitted he stole crypto assets connected to Richard's organization after his gambling losses spiraled beyond control. He kept insisting he planned to repay everything eventually. That sounded insane to me. Then Ethan admitted something I never expected. He always knew our parents favored him. According to him, being the perfect son became a prison. Every achievement became part of his identity until failure felt impossible. Instead of admitting weakness, he built an entire fake life around success. Before hanging up, he said quietly, "If something happens to me, don't let them blame themselves completely." For the first time in years, Ethan sounded honest, not impressive, not charming, just scared.
My parents gave everything to my golden child brother. Collectors, lenders, and angry investors started appearing almost daily. Dad admitted he secretly took out a second mortgage to save Ethan months earlier. My parents were dangerously close to losing the house entirely. One night I found Dad sitting alone outside, looking completely broken. "I thought you didn't need me," he admitted. That sentence hit harder than any apology. My entire childhood suddenly made sense. Ethan got constant attention because he demanded it loudly. I stayed quiet so everyone assumed I was fine. Mom cried constantly while realizing how badly the favoritism damaged both sons differently. Then my phone buzzed. A message from Ethan. "They found me." For the first time, I genuinely thought my brother might die because nobody ever forced him to face consequences earlier. My parents gave everything to my golden child brother. 3 days later, Ethan came home unexpectedly. He looked terrible. Sunken eyes, wrinkled clothes, nervous movements. The confident golden child image was completely gone. Mom hugged him immediately while Dad looked seconds away from collapsing. Ethan barely reacted. He just sat down and confessed everything. The fake investments, the gambling losses, the stolen accounts, the lies. Then he shocked me. "I hated you growing up." Apparently, he envied my freedom because our parents obsessed over his success constantly. While I felt invisible, Ethan felt trapped under impossible expectations. That conversation changed something in me. For years, I thought Ethan was simply spoiled. Now I realized he was damaged too. Not in the same way, but enough that I finally understood him a little. My parents gave everything to my golden child brother. Richard returned with lawyers the next morning. Ethan handed over passwords, account access, and hard drives connected to the missing crypto funds. Most of the stolen assets could still be recovered, but criminal charges were unavoidable. For the first time, nobody defended Ethan. Not Mom, not Dad, not even Ethan himself. Then something unexpected happened. He apologized. Not the fake manipulative kind. A real apology. He admitted he always knew I was treated unfairly growing up, and stayed silent because benefiting from favoritism felt easier. Dad apologized, too, for missed events, for comparisons, for assuming independence meant I didn't need emotional support. That night became the most honest conversation our family had ever experienced. Years of pretending finally collapsed, leaving only damaged people trying to understand each other honestly. My parents gave everything to my golden child brother. Federal investigators eventually became involved. Ethan accepted a plea deal and cooperated fully to avoid serious prison time. His reputation completely collapsed once the crypto scandal became public. Oddly enough, losing the perfect son image seemed to help him. For the first time in his life, Ethan stopped pretending to be exceptional. He got therapy, found a normal job, stopped chasing shortcuts. My parents also changed more than I expected. They started calling me just to talk instead of asking for favors related to Ethan. At first it felt awkward, almost artificial, like strangers learning how to become family again after years apart. But slowly, things became more honest than they had ever been growing up. No pretending, no golden child, no invisible son, just people trying to rebuild. My parents gave everything to my golden child brother. A year later, our family still wasn't perfect, but at least it was real. Therapy forced my parents to confront years of favoritism they spent decades denying. Mom admitted they built the family around Ethan's needs while expecting me to quietly adapt. Dad started calling regularly just to check in. Those conversations felt strange at first because we barely knew each other emotionally. One night, Ethan and I had dinner alone. Before leaving, he looked at me seriously. "You were always the stronger one." A younger version of me would have loved hearing that. Now it only made me sad. Strength built through neglect isn't really strength. Then Ethan quietly added, "I'm sorry they made you feel second place." For the first time in my life, someone in my family truly understood how invisible I felt growing up. The forgotten son was finally seen. And somehow, honesty became the closest thing we ever got to healing.